Welcome to the Awesomeness in Action radio show. I'm your host, Rashana Price, known as the Giver of Awesomeness, international author, coach, speaker, and trainer. And I'm so excited that you are here. Thank you to all of our sponsors. We thank Erie Success. Erie Success is a corporate sponsor that supports individuals and organizations that are focused on adult bullying and conflict resolution. You can learn more about Erie Success by going to eriesuccess.com. That's EYRIE success.com. And to our second sponsor, Ilika Follett, who is known as the Keto Mommy Makeover. You can find her on Instagram by going to Keto Mommy Makeover. You can also find her at her website, lifehealthnow.com. That's lifehealthnow.com. On today's show, I would like to welcome Miss Linda Hargrove. In just a moment, you're going to hear more from Linda, as she is a prominent engineer who is one of the first female students in a majority university as an African American woman. And so you know, guys, as an engineer myself, I cannot wait to hear more from Linda as she shares her story. She is currently the CEO and founder of STEM Dreams LLC. So Linda, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Rashana. It's good to be here.
Yes, you're welcome. I'm so glad
I'm glad
you're
our
here.
paths crossed again.
Yes, I am too. So tell listeners a little bit more about you.
Well, I'm a small town girl that wanted to go to the big city.
Yeah.
I grew up in northeastern North Carolina and wanted to be an engineer, even though I had not met an engineer.
Okay.
I briefly met an agricultural engineer at a job fair at school.
Yeah.
But I didn't grow up, an engineer in the family. In fact, my dad only finished ninth grade.
Okay.
And went on to get a GED. But I tell people he was the original engineer in the family.
Yes.
He was always fixing stuff and
tinkering
around and
a problem solver.
He was a problem solver.
Yes.
People came to him with their
Yes.
problems. And sometimes it spilled over with me. Like my uncle would bring me broken typewriters.
Oh.
My dad didn't want to fix it, so yeah.
So you would fix it.
I would fix it.
Yes.
Yeah, to my mom's delight, as you can
Imagine. Yes. She was like, what are you doing?
Why am I doing that? Yeah. I'm glad she never said boys don't do that. Or rather, girls don't do that, but only boys. But
Okay.
her thing was, it's the mess. And usually I had parts left over.
Extra parts. Yes.
But it worked. I was an innovator. So,
Yeah.
So I went to the NC State because they had that major. And, the rest is history.
And so which discipline of engineering are you?
Biological and agricultural.
Combined, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a combined degree, but I have a BS and an MS in that. And went on to work as an engineer for the state for about 5 years. And in that time, got married, first couple of kids, and then decided to take a little break and raise those kids.
Yeah.
I wanted to be home for a while. And decided probably about, 5 years in that I wanted to start my own business. And got my feet wet with an LLC back when the kids were little. And then decided after a couple of moves throughout the state that I would go back to engineering. And actually, that's how our paths crossed.
Yeah.
At UNC Charlotte.
At UNC Charlotte.
And basically, working as an engineer again, engineering instructor, research engineer, and started seeing some of the same patterns. Like you said, I was the only woman. Only woman, or only black woman. It's like, okay, this has to change. My husband's also an engineer from NC State. We met on campus. And we decided to do something about it. And that's why we started STEM Dreams.
Yeah.
Just to bring awareness, to inspire, whether they're first gens or, they have an example or not in their lives as an engineer or, scientist or whatever, to take that leap. Yes, you can.
Because you can. Because you can. And really, someone has to speak something into your life. Yeah. So for myself, when I was about 10 or so, I was driving home from dance class with my father. And I was telling him I wanted to be a teacher like him. And he said, no, you want to be an engineer.
Wow.
And I said,
great.
well, what's an engineer? And he said, I don't know, but they make more money than teachers.
Yeah. Well, yep.
Yep. And then my parents, I'm from upstate New York, and so they got me involved in different summer programs, women in engineering. I went to Penn State for a summer. I went to Cornell for a summer.
Mm-hmm.
They knew enough to say it's out here somewhere.
Yeah.
And so what I love about your organization, and it is the somewhere. It's out here somewhere.
Yeah.
And my husband and I, we met at North Carolina A&T in engineering. He has a mechanical engineering background. I have industrial engineering background. And that like-mindedness of we can solve these problems.
Yeah.
We can be an example, and representation is so critical.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a quick break, and then right after the break, we're going to come back and talk about the representation, because being in a majority college, university at NC State, being the only female, I'm sure you experience different adversity, and so let's talk about that and know what you do. Let's talk about your experience at NC State. We're going to go back, and then we're going to come forward. Okay. So take us on campus when you first got there and looked around and said, oh, there's not a lot of me, black, female, young, engineering, especially in the bioengineering and agriculture.
Mm-hmm.
How did you navigate that environment of being one of a few, or the only?
Mm-hmm. Well, I was grateful for having a mentor.
Okay.
She's a black female engineer as well, and she, even though she was an upperclassman, she was there long enough to kind of give me that guidance, okay, what to do, what to look out for, how to survive.
Professors, all the things.
That kind of thing,
Yes.
all the things, how to survive, because she had made it, or was about to graduate, and she wanted to give back. She wanted to make sure that she was not the last one, kind of thing.
Yes.
Because she was a first gen as well.
Okay.
So she was kind of like a big sister. She pointed me toward a group of other engineers that looked like me.
Okay.
Because other than that, I don't think I would have known to find them.
Okay.
National Society of Black Engineers, NSBE.
NSBE.
Yeah, I'm so used to just saying NSBE, not saying the whole thing.
Yes.
So it's actually it's an international organization now, but back then, it's just getting started, and that was kind of just a place to tap in to kind of recharge, because I had those incidents. One in particular where it was statics. Yeah, that was.
So statics is the class that just. It's a hard class in general. It's a hard class.
Yeah, so it wasn't my first hard
class,
but it was my first difficult one that I didn't get the sense that I was getting support.
Yes.
That I saw the divide.
Okay.
You heard about it.
Mm-hmm.
It was very evident that the instructor did not care for persons of color in his class. But I was hard-headed, just kept going to his office during office hours and wanted to get help. Until finally, he told me, you need to get out. Just do my face. I mean, we're sitting a little bit closer than we are.
Wow.
Almost knee to knee.
Yeah.
Because I'm leaning over my paper as he is on my desk, trying to get the problems right.
Uh-huh.
What am I doing wrong?
What am I doing wrong?
And his thing was, you're doing wrong by being here. And that just, I gathered my things quickly, and I didn't know what to do. That's besides leave.
Right.
I was running across campus pretty much in tears, and I ran to those friends.
Yes.
There was a certain, we called it our cultural center.
Okay.
And we would go and gather. There was a pastor there sometimes, and that's where I ran. Yeah. I needed to have those people speaking to my life.
Yeah.
You can make it.
Yeah.
You need to get back on track. Get back in there. Don't let that one man tell you. I found out years later that it wasn't just blacks. He was against women in engineering.
Women in engineering.
Yeah.
So you had the double.
Yeah.
The double strikes, two strikes against you. Yeah.
So it took some doing to persist and plugging into the network of resources there, but I'm grateful I did. But yeah, that's one of the reasons why I want to be part of the solution.
Solution.
To help.
Yeah, to be a
young girls.
refuge. You didn't say that word, refuge.
Yeah, exactly.
However,
Be a
that's,
refuge.
as I'm imagining you running across campus. I've been to NC State's campus. It's large.
It is big.
And that feeling of you're with a professor, someone you think is safe, helping you, wanting to help you.
Came highly recommended.
Came highly recommended, right? Usually that's
This
how
is-
it is. This is
the
the person.
one to take. He's great.
Yeah. He's great for you and for whatever reason.
Yeah. And looking back, it was a friend, a fellow white male student.
Yeah.
That,
Yeah.
came highly recommended.
Yeah. And for that white male student, he was
He fit the mold.
fit the mold.
Yeah.
And did you ever tell that friend that recommended what happened to you?
No, I did not.
That's interesting.
Because I passed them across again after graduation.
Okay.
But I do still, have contact with some of his friends. But I wonder if, they could pass it along.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
remember Dr. Such and So?
yeah. I wonder
Did you take him?
how he would respond if he knew. Because it's one of those things. Even now we talk about. There's lots of conversations around equity, diversity, inclusion, and I find that white male friends that I have, colleagues that I have, they really don't know because that's not a paradigm that they experience, and so
I've seen that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the blinders are there. But something else I've seen
What else? Yeah.
lately, and I hope it just spreads, is some of my white friends, engineer friends, that I'm still connected with on Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever, they've come kind of turned a corner and said, okay, I saw those things, or I've seen those things, and it saddens me, and I want to do something about it.
Yes.
Not just a Band-Aid, but they want to be part of the solution and sticking their neck out.
Yes.
To the point where it's like
I have seen that too.
They're
speaking up.
They're speaking out. They're using their platform, their influence, and it's like, I'm glad you're doing that, but keep doing it, and know that it might take a little while. It's not like I figured it out. I can fix it in a snap.
Yes.
No.
Yes, it is an iterative process, like other engineering problems.
You're correct. Are you committed? And I've seen commitment that has surprised me, that pleased me.
Yeah.
And in fact, individuals coming to me in private to say, since I've been speaking out, these things have been happening. Look,
how do I navigate this?
I don't know what I've got myself into. It's like, just keep going. Just keep going. Thank you for doing it, but just keep going.
Yeah, keep going. Because you are helping the future, which is something you're passionate about, because the future engineer is a part of what we're grooming right now. They're in schools, they're in your programs. So how do you work with individuals and families to help them really understand why STEM is so important?
Family is the key. The parents, the grandparents, aunts and uncles that don't know what we're talking about. I mean, they know that engineers exist. They've heard that word. Scientists, mathematicians, they know these words, but it's like, we don't know anybody doing that. What are you really trying to do?
Right.
Yeah. And then also trying to guide them through how not to be embarrassed. Okay. Because they are gatekeepers. They can hold the gate open, or they can hold it closed. And too often, they're holding it closed and don't know. One of the things that my husband and I started before the pandemic, but it's good. I'm glad we did start this. It's a podcast.
Yes.
So we've been kind of homegrown.
Yeah.
And doing interviews of engineers. Most of them we either know from NC State or UNC Charlotte or the Charlotte community. To just come on the show and tell us about what they do and how you got there. Particularly starting, because we're targeting middle school, high school families. When you were in middle school, when you were in high school, what was the thing that drew you in, and how did you navigate all of that? And then to have them speak into the lives of those young kids. What can you say to them that'll help them and help their parents? Because like I said, many times the parents are saying things they don't, or doing things that they don't know that they're doing, that are cutting their children's dreams short. That's why it's STEM dreams.
Oh, that's why. Okay.
Yeah.
To help the dream stay big.
Yeah. So big, and everybody is not meant to be a scientist, technologist, engineer, or mathematician, but if they have that mindset that that's a possibility, then they're more likely to become.
Yes.
Or more likely to follow that track.
Yeah. To hold the door. I like how you said the gate.
Hold the door
Hold it open for the exploration, especially in middle and high school. You don't have to decide right away. You have. My son is 12. He's in 7th grade, so he still has a lot of time to explore what he likes, how he learns, what challenges him, how he overcomes those challenges. And I think for families, giving children room to explore and even fail or learn, like, this is what challenge really looks like. And you may have to go off. The other thing that happens sometimes, maybe you've experienced this, is that family, especially if family doesn't know, it's the idea of, well, let's keep you close.
Yeah.
That hinders or stifles the dream. Do you see that?
Yeah, unfortunately I do. And it saddens me, because it feels like you've cut their legs off. They can't go. One student in particular had an all-expenses paid trip to New York City. Kind of young engineers.
Yeah.
And his parents said no, because you've never been on a plane. You've never been in New York City. And so he said no.
All the more reason to go. Oh no!
They didn't have to pay a single thing, but because nobody had ever...
Because nobody had ever been.
Yeah. And this was way before the pandemic. Way before there was any kind of, risk to their health.
Yeah, that hurts.
And I thought back on my own experience, even though, because I cooperative education,
yes.
You work a certain time frame, then you go to school and it helps pay for school. So my co-op was in West Virginia. So predominantly white university in Raleigh, and then go to
West Virginia.
Predominantly white state.
Right.
There are black people there.
Yes, there are. Yes, there are.
Yeah. So I was working as an environmental technician at a power plant. And the only other black engineer there was African.
Okay. Yes.
And culturally
very different.
We couldn't really relate. So just kind of hung around the engineers anyway. But it was quite an experience going there, just personally, but also the experience for my parents. I was the youngest. And to send, your young... The baby out into the world. My mother thought that the first tour of duty I went in August.
Okay.
She was sure I needed snow tires.
Oh my gosh. Okay, she just didn't know.
She was trying to protect me, keep me
close,
keep me protected, which was fine.
Yes.
I just saw my parents a different way. The last tour of duty, so this is a year and a half into the co-op program, I had the opportunity to fly in and then fly out. I rented a car while I was there. So when I flew back, this is the first and only time my dad has hugged me. So I'm getting off this Norfolk airport, it's closest to my little town in North Carolina. So they're going across the border to fly in, and this is when, you don't have all the security.
Right,
or whatever. So he's rushing toward me as I get off of the gate.
Yeah, the gate.
To get me off. Because he was sure I was going to die on that plane. My baby was back. So when I thought of that, when, the occasion when that young man, his parents said no, I thought back to my own parents. It's a struggle.
It's a struggle.
When you're sending your child into the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
necessary.
It is necessary. It's finding those resources to tap into, to find out, okay, what is engineering? What does it really mean to be an engineer or a scientist? What kinds of things do I have to experience or expect. So.
Yeah. To help them stay exposed, so that the exposure is there. As we were talking before the break and really diving deep into STEM, your specific journey in engineering, going to NC State, being a first-generation college student, engineer, black, female, and how family, truly, that family, parents, grandparents, guardians, can hold the gate open or close it shut on the dreams of a young individual, a young person. And your organization, STEM Dreams, really focuses on middle and high school students. So how are you continuing to support and expose them to the different disciplines of engineering and a career path or career paths that they can take?
So in addition to the monthly podcast, we also have resources for parents on our website. They can go and download them and kind of explore how they can set up a STEM center at their home.
Yes.
And I know it sounds fancy, but it could just be a drawer or cabinet that you keep those resources, whether they're doing little projects
Yes.
or activities, hands-on activities. Have it there in that box in the closet or in a drawer in the kitchen, so that when they're done with homework, maybe they can, instead of going to do video games or jumping on the TV, to zone out with cartoons, to go and do some kind of activity.
Yes.
10 minutes, 30 minutes, just to be exploring.
Yes.
Having whether it's a hobby or some curiosity that they're working on. Gardening is one way. Baking with me, all those kinds of things that I did with my kids, and they were sure, it's like, Mommy, other moms and dads don't do this with their kids. It's like, well, okay, but you're my kid.
But you're my kid, exactly, and that's okay. I mean, we have popsicle sticks and duct tape at my house.
Yep.
On supply all the time.
Yep. Because oh my goodness,
Because
popsicles.
You can do a lot with popsicle sticks.
Yes. You can.
Yeah, so I want to make sure listeners know where to find you. So your website is idreamstem.org.
Yep.
That is idreamstem.org. You're also on Instagram as idreamstem and on Facebook as idreamstem.org or idreamstem.org. Yeah. So listeners, individuals, guardians, grandparents, no matter your role, you can expose the young people in your life to the resources that are out here that Linda and her husband offer through STEM Dreams. So thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome.
Me.
Yeah.
I guess representing all of STEM Dreams.
Yes, it's an us, and you're welcome back anytime.
Well, thank you.
Because engineering is it's who I am. It's what I do.
You're always an engineer.
Once an engineer, always an engineer.
It trains your thoughts.
It does.
And the way you approach life.
Absolutely.
It's a training.
It definitely is. I tell people all the time that it helps you solve problems, and once you know how to solve problems, you can solve them in a variety of areas.
Yeah.
Yes. So thank you for being here, and thank you. Yeah, thank you to all of our listeners as well. Thank you for tuning in every Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time on iHeartRadio and other streaming radio apps. And for those of you that are interested in sponsorship, commercials, advertising, you can email me at radio@giverofawesomeness.com. That's radio@giverofawesomeness.com. Until next time, continue to be blessed and always remember, awesomeness is in you.